If your weeks feel productive, but your income feels unstable, this is why. It's Sunday night. You're not panicking, you're not stressed, but you're doing the math in your head and you're thinking about the conversations that almost turned into something, the leads that showed interest, then went quiet, the week that felt productive but didn't move your income the way it should have. And the frustrating part is this: you didn't slack, you didn't ignore your business, and you didn't take the week off. You were busy. So why does it still feel fragile? And why does it still feel like the next week could go either way? If that question keeps showing up for you, this video is going to be uncomfortable because the answer has nothing to do with effort. Most agents think progress is obvious. A deal moves forward, a deal falls apart, and something happens. But the real damage in this business doesn't announce itself. It happens in moments that don't feel dramatic enough to pay attention to, where nothing breaks, nothing blows up, and nothing gets rejected. Things just stall. And weeks later, you can't even remember their name, only the quiet feeling that something slipped. And because nothing technically went wrong, your brain never flags it as a problem. And that is what makes it dangerous. Think about your last week, not emotionally, mechanically. How many leads came in but never turned into conversations? How many conversations started but never turned into momentum? Not deals that were lost, deals that were never allowed to form. And here's the pattern that almost everyone misses. A lead shows interest, and you see it. You intend to respond properly, but the timing isn't perfect, so it waits. Not long enough to feel late, just long enough to feel less urgent. And by the time you re engage, the temperature has changed. And because no one said no, you treat it like neutral ground. But it isn't. It's the exact moment where effort stopped compounding and started leaking. You see, this problem doesn't hit beginners the hardest. It hits the agents who are already busy. Because when your days are full, incomplete conversations don't feel threatening. You assume seriousness equals patience. You assume urgency can be restarted later. But urgency isn't a switch, it's a condition. And once it fades, nothing downstream carries the same weight. And that's why your weeks feel uneven. They're not bad, not great, just unpredictable. Look at it this way: you run the same ads, you have the same follow up, and you give the same effort, but it's different outcomes. That's not inconsistency. That's why effort keeps rising while results don't. Most agents respond to this by tightening their grip. They set more reminders, they do more follow ups, they have more personal responsibility. They try to outwork a timing problem. And for a short window, it feels better until one day resets everything. Because the issue isn't discipline, it's that your process only works when nothing interrupts you. If a system requires perfect attention to perform consistently, it's not a system, it's a dependency. And dependencies break under pressure. Here's the thing: you don't need more leads, you don't need better scripts, you don't even need more follow up. You just need a fewer moments where progress is allowed to pause without direction. Because every pause forces the prospect to decide what happens next. And when you don't control that decision, you feel it as instability. Not because you're doing the wrong things, but because the most sensitive part of your process is still unguarded. And here's the part that most agents don't want to admit: if nothing changes, next week will feel productive again, and your income will still depend on timing you don't control. So here's the decision point: if you're paying for leads and still guessing why some weeks work and others don't, that's not a motivation issue. That's a visibility problem. And every week it stays invisible, you pay for it in deals that never even feel lost. They're just gone. And if you're thinking, this is just how the business is, that belief is exactly what keeps this invisible. You need someone to look at your process before another week quietly slips by and you tell yourself, you'll fix it next time. DM me the word check, not to pitch you, to show you the exact moment your follow up loses leverage. I'll walk you through your entire follow up system with you and show you exactly where the momentum stops progressing. I only do 5 of these per week because they require real focus. If you want one, DM me check now, because next week will look exactly like last week. And at some point, busy just stops being an excuse and starts being the story you tell to avoid fixing what matters.